You do not challenge the Luftwaffe in daylight and expect to survive. That was the rule. Everyone knew it. Every Air Force planner. Every bomber crew. Every German fighter pilot who had ruled Europe's skies since 1939. Germany owned the air war. Their pilots were veterans. Their aircraft were fast, lethal, and perfectly suited for combat over Europe. The Messerschmitt Bf 109 and the Focke-Wulf 190 were feared names, machines that had torn apart Polish, French, and Soviet air forces. When American bombers crossed into occupied Europe in 1942 and 1943, they did so knowing the truth. The bombers would not all come back. Because escort fighters couldn't stay with them. American fighters could climb fast. They could turn tightly. They could fight well, for a while. But they could not go the distance. Their fuel ran out. Their range ended. And when it did, German pilots waited. They called it the happy hunting ground. Beyond the range of Allied escorts, German fighters would dive into tight bomber formations. Cannon shells tore through aluminum skin. Engines exploded. Men burned or fell screaming through open hatches. Entire crews vanished in seconds. The Americans knew the math. So did the Germans. And then there was the Mustang. When they first saw it. A thin-winged, fragile-looking aircraft that didn't fit the established rules of air combat. They called it a toy. They said it would break apart in a dive. They said its engine would fail. They said its pilots would die. But in 1944, one man and one aircraft shattered everything Germany thought it knew about air war. And once that happened, the skies over Europe would never be the same. You are Clarence Bud Anderson. You are 21 years old. You grew up in Washington State, flying anything with wings you could get your hands on. Crop dusters, trainers, junk aircraft held together by hope and oil. You are calm, focused, quiet. You do not brag. You joined the Army Air Forces in 1942. You train fast. You shoot well. You learn discipline. And by late 1943, you are a captain flying escort missions over Europe with the 357th Fighter Group. At first, you fly the P-47 Thunderbolt. It is powerful. It is rugged. It can absorb punishment. But it is heavy. And its range ends too soon. You watch bombers disappear beyond your fuel limit. You turn back knowing what waits for them. You hear the numbers. 50 bombers lost. 60. 70. Then you see the new aircraft. The P-51 Mustang. It looks different. Long nose. Bubble canopy. Slim wings. It feels lighter. Faster. The Merlin engine hums differently. Smooth, confident, almost elegant. Most importantly, it carries drop tanks. That changes everything. With external fuel, you can escort bombers all the way to Berlin. And back. The Germans do not believe this at first. Their intelligence dismisses it. Their pilots scoff. But you know something has changed the moment you fly your first long-range escort. You are no longer leaving the bombers. You are staying. And that means the Luftwaffe must fight you. Head on. March 6, 1944. You climb to 25,000 feet over England. Temperature, minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Your oxygen mask bites into your face. Your Mustang vibrates gently, steady and sure. Ahead of you, 814 American bombers headed for Berlin. Berlin, the heart of Germany. German radar detects you almost immediately. You cross the coast. The radio crackles. Bandits. 12 o'clock high. You scan the sky. Black specks. Then wings. Then crosses. Messerschmitt Bf 109s diving fast. This is the moment German pilots expect you to brake. To peel away. To turn for home. You don't. You push the throttle forward. The Mustang surges. The German pilot sees you coming and hesitates. Just a fraction of a second. He expects you to turn. You don't. 1,500 yards. 1,200 yards. 900 yards. You squeeze the trigger. 6.50 caliber machine guns erupt at once. The Mustang shakes violently. Tracers reach out like glowing fingers. The Messerschmitt explodes. Metal fragments scatter. Smoke fills your canopy. You pull up hard, G-forces crushing you into the seat. You check your fuel. Still good. You hear German pilots over the radio. Confusion. Alarm. They were not expecting this. Another attack. FW-190s this time. Faster. Heavier. More heavily armed. They dive through the bomber stream, and you are right there with them. You roll inverted. You drop behind one. You fire. The Focke-Wulf's wing snaps clean off. That is your second kill. Below you bombers fly on. Still intact. Still dropping payloads. The Germans regroup. They try vertical attacks. Head-on passes. Slashing dives. Nothing works. The Mustang climbs with them. Turns with them. Stays with them. Hour after hour. Fuel gauges drop, but slowly. You are still there. A German pilot tries to run. You chase him. The Mustang accelerates in a shallow dive, speed climbing past 440 miles per hour. The German aircraft cannot escape. You fire again. Third kill. Your hands are numb. Your face aches. Sweat freezes inside your gloves. And still you stay. At one point your engine sputters. For a split second you think this is it. Engine failure over Germany. Capture or worse. Then the engine smooths out. You exhale. The mission continues. By the time you turn back, German fighter losses are catastrophic. And for the first time, the bombers come home in numbers Germany never believed possible. Mid-roll seat. If you find this kind of forgotten military history as fascinating as we do, we'd be honored if you'd hit that subscribe button. We believe these stories of courage, sacrifice, and genius deserve to be told. And by subscribing, you help us ensure they aren't forgotten. The Luftwaffe adapts. They always do. They throw everything at the Mustangs. Rocket-armed fighters. Heavy cannon. Mass formations. April 11, 1944. Another Berlin mission. You are airborne again. This time the Germans come in waves. 40 fighters at once. The sky fills with contrails. Explosions. Smoke. You see a bomber take a direct hit. It rolls, breaks apart. Men bail out, some parachutes don't open. You feel the anger rise. You push forward. You pick targets carefully. You fire in short bursts. One enemy aircraft spirals down. Then another. A German pilot turns into you head-on. Neither of you breaks. At 500 yards both of you fire. Tracers rip past your canopy. You feel a jolt. Your left wing is hit. But you keep firing. The German aircraft disintegrates 200 yards in front of you. You pull up, barely missing the debris. Your wing holds. By the end of the mission you have 5 confirmed kills. Ace in a day. German pilots are stunned. They had mocked the Mustang. Now they fear it. What they didn't know was how total the shift would be. Within months the Luftwaffe is bleeding to death. Experienced pilots are killed faster than they can be replaced. Training hours drop. Fuel shortages cripple flight schools. German commanders order fighters to avoid Mustangs. Avoid. That alone tells the story. The P-51 escorts bombers non-stop. Factories burn. Oil refineries collapse. Rail yards vanish. On June 6, 1944, D-Day, the Allies own the skies. The Luftwaffe barely appears. The invasion succeeds. The Mustang didn't just dominate dogfights. It ended Germany's ability to wage air war. You survive the war. You are 22 years old with 16.25 confirmed aerial victories. You go on to fly jets. To command. To live. Bud Anderson passes away in 2024 at the age of 102. To this day, the P-51 Mustang is remembered not as a toy, but as the aircraft that broke the Luftwaffe. If this story moved you, please hit that like button. Every click tells the algorithm this piece of history is worth remembering. We're dedicated to rescuing these forgotten stories from the archives. If you want to join us on this mission, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment with your city or state and tell us if someone in your family served. Thank you for ensuring that Clarence, Bud Anderson, and the men of the 357th Fighter Group do not disappear into silence. They deserve to be remembered.